Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we are doing Stray Kids to figure out the group predictions for their 2025. So in the description below I will have the questions that we're going to answer in this video, as well as the timestamps in case you want to jump around to whichever section you may be a bit more interested in. With all of that said, I will start with the first one and figure out what is Stray Kids' current energy. How is the group doing right now? So we have the Queen of Swords upright, the Six of Wands upright, and then the Tower upright. So that's kind of funny because I saw the Queen of Swords and I was like, they feel confident, they feel positive. And then I saw the Six of Wands and I was like, that's a very good card to have. And then the Tower comes up and I was like, oh, okay, well, that seems a bit rough. So I'll go in order and then we'll figure out what the story could be for them right now. Let's see, what is going on? So with the Queen of Swords, we have someone that is speaking up their mind. They say their opinions, they express themselves, very blunt, very straightforward. It is a card that can seem a bit detached because it's Aquarius energy. Not detached in the sense of like they don't care, but detached in the sense of like they don't get super easily swayed by their emotions, right? The Queen of Swords is supposed to talk about someone that has like a steel heart, one that is keeping their heart very guarded, one that kind of just makes sure that they have a very clear mind and they're thinking more from like the logical point of things. Their reasoning is very much based on a strategy rather than by their heart or by their emotions, right? But the Queen of Swords here is supposed to still be pretty positive, so that means that the group is communicating pretty well. They're expressing their ideas very clearly and they're making sure that there's no misunderstandings. Yes, the Queen of Swords could talk about a bit of a bitchy energy, so this could show that the group is extremely blunt to the point of fault, meaning that they could cause a little bit of strain, a little bit of arguments, but at least everyone is speaking up their mind, everyone is saying how they feel, everyone's saying what they think. And yes, there could be a little bit of passive aggressiveness. Well, the Queen of Swords is very blunt, so it more like backhanded compliments at times, or maybe the group could reach points where everyone is saying exactly what they think and they're being a little bit too honest. But again, it depends on the group dynamics. It seems like the group all kind of is like that, so they can handle it. So at the end of the day, they get their point across, right? So everyone definitely has a chance to defend themselves if it boils down to if anyone is kind of like poking a little bit too hard when it comes to those very sharp comments and thoughts. But yeah, the group seems to have very good communication. I'm not necessarily the most friendly, apparently, but again, emotions are not the priority here. So no one is being sympathetic, being like, okay, I want to make sure you feel good and that I'm not stressing you out. It's more like, no, I need to just tell you exactly how I see things and how I view them. And in the middle of this spread, we have the Six of Wands, which is a very positive card. It talks about success. It talks about being give credit for your hard work. It talks about people acknowledging your hard work and your success. And the Six of Wands does talk about people like celebrating and like cheering you on for the accomplishments that you have done. If anything, this card is a reminder that the group should kind of give themselves a pat in the back for their hard work, as well as the success that they have gathered from all of that work that they've done. I think we should talk about like the previous year, like all the successes they have had last year. They should start this year by kind of like looking back at that, seeing how much they have grown, and kind of like give themselves a round of applause for their efforts paying off. Also, the Six of Wands could talk about some Leo energy here and someone being under the spotlight. So currently the group is just doing their job and being under the spotlight, being under the camera, being the public, doing their work. Now, the last card that I have here is the Tower card. So, the Tower card is not... Okay, it's a challenging card. It definitely is. It's Mars energy. Mars is a warrior energy. Is definitely one of driven passion, motivation, and a lot of hard work in the sense of like just getting things done. Now, the Tower. So that means that currently the group is in an energy where things could be crumbling down a little bit. Things may not be working as expected. The Tower card talks, this lightning is supposed to be like an epiphany. Like the group is going through this moment of realization, a moment where they're understanding something that they had never really thought of before. And that realization and that thought has caused them to have this tower moment. So the tower moment is supposed to talk about destruction, breaking things apart. And the thing that happens here is like anything that is not built on a strong foundation is going to crumble under pressure, meaning that the group is having this epiphany that will shift them and change them in such a way that anything that doesn't is not in the same level or in the same wavelength that as that transformation or as that new way of thinking is going to disappear, it's going to break apart, it's going to fall apart. And that is necessary in order to make room for the new things that are entering their life. And also it makes sense because it's not meant for them anymore. That energy needs to just go away. They need to transform it, change it into the better version of themselves or the better situation that they're going to be in. And the Tower card is supposed to also describe like this future of like, now you will be able to build upon a stronger foundation, creating a bit more of a stable and a secure environment, or in this case even space. Like it doesn't have to be like a physical environment, it could just be like an energy space or a vibe. So currently the group is going through a transformation, so maybe that's why the Queen of Swords is here. Like maybe some of them are just speaking up their mind because they're a little bit irritated and frustrated with all of these changes, but those changes are definitely necessary if they want to continue succeeding in life. It's like those changes are here because that is just part of what transformation is, and things are going to fall apart. So if some things are not working, it's because it's not really meant for them anymore. It's just not who they are anymore, if that makes sense. But let's go on to the second question and figure out what is in store for Stray Kids career this 2025. I actually want those two. So we have Full Moon in Virgo with You Are Good Enough, and we have Fifth Moon with Hold Your Vision. So the full moon is talking about this energy that has been building up, which kind of fits very well with the Tower energy. The group is going through this transformation where they are changing and transforming and trying to adjust to their new environment. And one of the adjustments that they have to do is understanding their self-worth and understanding their value as individuals. It's like what makes them who they are, and after recognizing that is making sure that they understand that even the parts of themselves that they're not proud of or the part of themselves that they don't really like, they have to acknowledge it, and it is part of who they are as a person and their personality, and understanding that that's just how things are going to be and they don't have to change that side of them, and they just need to learn to work with it and love it and take care of it. So one of the examples that are coming up is like, let's say you have someone that they don't really like to say their opinion because it really comes off harshly. Well, that doesn't mean that they need to stop expressing their thoughts and their ideas. It just means that they have to figure out a different way to express those thoughts and those ideas in such a way that it doesn't come off as aggressive, or that it doesn't come off as aggressive towards others. It's like making sure that they lower that aggression or lower that confrontation, so that when they speak up, people can listen to their opinion without like blocking themselves, if that makes sense. So that is one of the examples that I'm getting here, is like, instead of changing parts of themselves that they don't like, it's better for them to analyze it, look at them closely, and figure out, oh, so maybe if I change this a little bit, I can continue doing what I always do. It's just, they just have to adjust basically and understand that all parts of them are valuable and all parts of them are worthy of love and care. Another thing is that if any of them are insecure about their skills, is like, continue working hard to improve those skills, but also know that you don't have to be perfect in order to accomplish what you want to accomplish, or in order to succeed in life. It's like, you can't learn as you go. It's a valid thing. If anything, a lot of people acknowledge and love the idea of seeing how someone is growing into the person that they're becoming today. So if if you start and you're not perfect, people are not going to say much, and if anyone does, they don't belong in that energy. And then as you're growing, people will grow with you as well, and will appreciate to see this growth of this whole journey. And it's like you don't have to be there, whatever your goal may be. Like you don't have to be 100% ready for it, and you don't have to already be at the end goal when you're working on your journey. Like it's okay to build up to that end goal. And by that I mean, like, let's say any of them are like, I want to start acting, let's say, and they get a project and they go like, I have to be a good actor and do well and all of these things. And it's like, no, work on a couple of skills at once. It's like if you do it and you feel like you're very like deadpan and stiff with the acting, that's perfectly fine. Work on maybe speaking clearly, or speaking with emotions, or with your expression, or there's many other little skills that they can build up in order to become like a good actor, let's say. And it's like they don't have to be hard on themselves if they're not like there yet. Like they're good enough to start on this new project and this new journey. And what the hold your vision is very fitting with what we talked about earlier, is like, again, they don't have to be perfect, they don't have to be at 100% skill wise when they're trying on new opportunities and new journeys. It's like it's okay to kind of try it, fail at it, and then slowly figure out how to improve, and then grow from there and become an expert as they go along. But with that said, let's jump into the individual career predictions. And I will go in H order. So I'll start with Bangshan. So what is in store for Bangshan's career this 2025? We have conflict. And we have other cards. Sure. Reservation, okay, readiness, and stress. So this year he feels very prepared for what is in store for him. He feels pretty confident that things are going to be okay. He, again, we talked earlier about this confrontation energy that the group has. He's one of the people that is very confrontational, very forward, very outspoken, and he may get in a lot of arguments and discussions because he's trying to push his ideas forward and he's trying to speak his mind. But he could come off as a little bit aggressive, or maybe he's just coming off as being angry. But I think he's just frustrated because things are not really working out the way that he expects them. But regardless of that, he's doing okay. He is working very hard for a very big dream of his that is taking a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of polishing is the word that I'm getting. So maybe he's doing something and it's like, oh, I need to revise it. Oh no, I need to change it. But it's not necessarily the plan that he has to change. What he's changing is the product itself. So I don't know what he's working on that is like revising constantly, changing it constantly in order for it to fit whatever vision or goal he has in mind. So he has been putting a lot of work into making that project a reality. But he's doing okay, and he's ready for the road ahead. He's ready for what this year has to offer within his career. And he may be a little bit stressed because of how much pressure he's putting in order to create like the perfect product, or trying to make his vision a reality. If anything, the only advice I have for him is to just try it, go for it, and do the product. Maybe even release it if it's not like 100%, just to see how that one does. And then have that as a foundation, so like that he knows what he has to change or what he can maintain because of what worked and what didn't work. And then by the next time that he works on a similar project or a similar product, it will be better. Because now he has a bit of feedback, and he also has the experience to say, this worked for me and this is what worked for the general public. Especially if it's something that he's going to publish in his work, it's like release it, see how people react, and be like, okay, so this is what I wanted, this is what worked because that's what the public wanted. Now let's create a middle ground, and so on, so on. Now let's go on to the next person, which is Lino, and figure out what is in store for him this 2025. Well, for his career. We have a bunch of cards. I guess there's a lot going on for everyone. So we have robbery, self-love, live and learn, evidence, and fury. So if there's any conflict that Lino experiences this year, is going to be with his environment and the people around him. with the robbery and the fury, it makes me think that he's going to have a lot of arguments and disagreements with the company because of missed opportunities. So maybe the company is doing very bad with scheduling, and because of that, he can't really do a lot of the individual activities that he wanted to do, or he's having issues because the company is rejecting opportunities that he's looking forward to, and the company may not even give him very good reasons as to why they're rejecting some of his opportunities. Or maybe there's something that maybe the staff is doing or the company is kind of blocking him from that will anger him a lot. Because to me, the robbery card has always been of like missed opportunities, like someone, um, not necessarily stealing an opportunity, but you know those times where it's like someone gets something that you wanted, so you go like, oh no, they took what's mine when, well, it wasn't really yours. The self love and the live and learn just makes me think that, at least for himself, he's going to be fine. Meaning that he may have arguments and disagreements with management, but he himself is going to do well. Like, he's going to take care of himself, love himself, making sure that he's healthy, happy, content, and that he's doing what he wants to do. And the live and learn just shows that he will learn from his mistakes, work to improve his skills, and not be too hard if things don't work out the way that he expects them. Now, the evidence card just makes me think that he is going to see something that is eye opening for him and will make him realize that things are not as he expected them. So, what I'm getting in this case is like maybe he will see something concrete that will make him realize, for example, we talked about earlier, that management is not really doing their job, or that management is being careless to the point that he's missing opportunities that could be very beneficial for him as an individual. And that is going to anger him when he figures out, like, wait a minute, now I'm seeing what's happening, now I'm seeing what's going on. It's not a me issue, it is the like an environment issue, or like a staff issue. I don't know if the sabotage of sorts is intentional, or if it's just the company being a bit reckless of like, okay, well, we are prioritizing the group stuff, so the individual things is like a second afterthought, or if it's more along the lines of like people that don't realize the importance of their work, so they're just like, I'm just clocking in and trying to get that paycheck, and they don't realize that their carelessness does affect individuals, like in this case Lino being like, okay, well, I don't have those opportunities because you didn't pay attention and you didn't communicate to them, and you know, you're just not doing your job. That's kind of what I'm getting here. But let's go on to the next person, with this Chanbin. So what is in store for Chanbin's career this 2025? We have compromise and cursed. So he seems it. So again, a lot of conflict in all those Stray Kids. For Chanbin, compromise makes me think that he will have to negotiate, but the negotiation doesn't feel like it comes from an equal footing. It seems like it comes more from a place of like a power imbalance, or maybe a situation where it's like he doesn't get much of a say. He just has to kind of accept the terms that are being given to him. So if this is related to contracts, then he doesn't have much of a say on like the terms or stuff like that. He kind of just has to accept that that's how things are going to be from now on, and if he likes it, he stays, and if not, he goes. So he's gonna be dealing with someone or an energy that is like my way or the highway. So the compromise here doesn't feel equal. It doesn't feel like people are actually negotiating to get a mutual benefit for both parties. It seems more like it's like someone is saying, so these are the conditions and do you accept them or not. You know what it made me think? You know how it, like the terms and services, that is kind of like, you could read all of these things, but you have to accept them anyway. So it's kind of like, it feels kind of like that. It's like if he wants to do what he wants to do, he kind of has to deal with the conditions that he doesn't really have an option but accepting. So again, the negotiation doesn't feel like it's an equal footing. And the curse makes me think that he's going to be like, I don't like this, but I have to do this if I want to accomplish what I want to accomplish, or if I want to fulfill a goal that he has in mind. So yeah, the curse card just makes me, okay, let's look at this. It says hate, catastrophe, and misfortune. So it just shows that he is not going to be very happy with the relationship that he has with this person that is creating this conflicting energy of limiting his voice in a way. It's like since he can't actually negotiate and discuss in an equal footing, then he feels kind of forced to just do what is being asked of him, and that's going to create some conflict with whoever is like kind of like just forcing him to just do things. Again, it's not necessarily that he's doing something against his will as much as he just didn't have much of an option, so now he has to take care of his responsibilities and he doesn't really want to. And I also feel like he doesn't really, it feels like he doesn't really have to do this. So it's not like, the stuff that has to get done as an idol as much as it's more like maybe he wanted to negotiate better opportunities and better treatment within the company, and then things just fall through. So he has to just be like, well, if I want to keep working here, I have to just deal with that. That's more of the feeling that I'm getting here. It's not necessarily um, that he's actually being forced to do something completely unacceptable. It's more like it's very tedious because he feels like he's not being heard, basically. So now let's go to the next person and figure out what is in store for Hyunjin's career this 2025. Oh my god, that's a lot. I'll take the bottom one. And then let's hope that explains everything. Oh my gosh, we have disturbance. Okay, so the disturbance card shows that he has a lot of weight and pressure on his shoulders. There's a lot of responsibility he has to take care of, a lot of work that he has to do, a lot of schedules that he has to foresee, a lot of appearances that he has to keep. And I'm saying that because it's like keeping his own brand as an individual, keeping his own brand as part of the group, keeping his brand when he's like doing fashion stuff or modeling. Like there's a sense of like he has a lot of things to do, a lot of things to keep in mind, and he's just going to be doing a lot of it at once or a lot of it often. So he's going to be booked and busy this year. And the disturbance card just makes me think that he's not even going to notice all of the things that he has to do and how he's getting constantly interrupted. So this makes me think that, for example, he's working on something and then that schedule gets put on pause or put on hold because now he has to work on this other schedule. So I don't think he realizes how busy and overworked he's getting this year, but it's going to be a lot of responsibilities that he's taking care of, and maybe his body is going to feel the effects of it, meaning that maybe he is very tired, he has to sleep more, or he's like his body's going to feel the stress of it. So like if he feels pain or if he feels like he doesn't really have the energy, it's because he's not resting. Not necessarily because he's not taking care of his health, but more like he's just been overworked to the point that he doesn't have enough time for himself. He doesn't have enough downtime to rest. And all of those issues he's going to feel them even though he doesn't even realize it. So this year he's going to have a lot of work, which of course is always good, but it's going to be at the detriment of his health. There is an illness card in this deck and I don't see it here, of course. So that shows that maybe he's not going to actually get sick, but he's going to be wondering why things are harder to do, or why he's always tired, or why he doesn't have the motivation. And that's because he's not taking care of himself and he's just being overworked and he just doesn't realize. Now let's go on to the next person and figure out what is in store for Han's career this 2025. We have endorsement. So persuasion, bribe, and temptation. So this year it feels like there is going to be a lot of things that are going to be tempting for him. So there's a lot of, I don't know, it feels quite positive because it feels like there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming forward. Maybe a lot of people that want to collaborate with him, a lot of people that want to work with him, or maybe brands that want to work with him, or schedules and opportunities that are being brought forward because they want to work with him. Like it seems like there's a lot of temptation here. Oh, like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. It could also be his personality. Like there's a lot of things that he wants to do this year. Maybe a lot of new things that he wants to try, or maybe a lot more concepts, activities that he wants to take a risk on. So with all of these opportunities and this temptation of like maybe wanted to do too many things at once, or maybe wanted to try so many new things. Like, he seems like the type of person that gets very excited at the fact of trying something new. So it's like he gets an opportunity of like a show that seems very absurd, or uh, a show that highlights a skill that he has never really thought of learning, or nourishing was the word that came up. Then he's going to be like, well, why not, let me try it. And all of those things are just going to be temptations, because you have to keep in mind that he doesn't have all the time and energy in the world to do all of the things that may be offered to him. So he may have to be a little bit selective, but I do feel that he gets quite easily influenced or quite easily convinced. So there is a chance that people are like, okay, why don't you try this? And then they explain why they think he will be good for the opportunity, or maybe how much they like him, and he goes like, you kind of convinced me, and then he tries it out. But he can't do everything at once, right? So I do hope that he doesn't overwork himself in that sense. And you know what else? Maybe he's very bad at saying no. So like, if someone is offering him an opportunity, he has this very bad habit of like not being able to say no if he has other things he wants to do, or if he's busy. He goes like, well, if I have a bit of time, maybe, why not? And because of that, he ends up just having a bunch of work at once. So if anything, this year is very promising, because he will get a lot of offers, but also he should watch out and not just say yes to every single one of them. He should plan things accordingly so he doesn't overwork himself and tire himself out. And also, it feels like he wants to try a lot of new things, which I will always encourage, but not at the expense of his health and his well-being. So hopefully he does manage himself and his energy well. If not, well, it's gonna be a difficult year for him. Anyway, let's go to the next person and figure out what's in store for Felix's career this 2025. What is in store for his career? So a chunk of cards came out. We have relaxation, gain, which are very positive cards. Wait. We have aid, blessing, and hesitation. So all of those cards are actually very positive. You know what I started craving? I don't know if maybe I'm hungry, but like previously, I think it was in the between Chanbin and Hyunjin, I started tasting like a guayaba, which is I don't know how you say that in English. It's a fruit, and then with Felix right now, I'm like tasting pastel de tres leches. So maybe I'm craving something sweet, or maybe I'm hungry. I have no clue. And if not, maybe the group needs to indulge themselves with a little bit of happiness, a little bit of desserts, something that brings them a little bit of joy. Anyway, to Felix's reading. So the realization card shows that he's going to have a very clean mind, clear of stress. Doesn't mean that he's not going to have work. It just means that he's going to not stress over the stuff that he has to do, and he's going to be pretty calm. He's going to be have enough of a clear mind to do what he has to do and work on the things that he has to work on. He's not going to have unnecessary stress on him. So that tells me that he's not going to worry about things that are outside of his control, and he's not going to worry if things are going to turn out well or not, because he's just going to experience life and just go through what he has to go through to accomplish what he has to accomplish, or to take care of the responsibilities that have to be completed. So he's not going to overthink things. He's just going to do things. He's not going to worry about it. He's just going to find solutions. So he's just trying not to stress over things that are outside of his control, and he prefers to just stay calm and being able to have a clear mind, so he can just focus on the things that are within his power and focus on the things that matter to him or that are important to him. Now, the gain card makes me think that this year is going to be filled with abundance. It's going to be filled with a lot of great results for him. If there's anything that he's working on, he's going to notice that everything is just giving very good results, or that the future is very promising. So if he's working on a project, even if he doesn't get to complete it or release it, he's going to feel very proud about the process and the creation of it. So that shows that he's going to see success and results, even if the public doesn't get to see it, or even if it doesn't do well for the public. So if he wrote lyrics or took out a song and it doesn't get the attention that maybe people will have wanted, but he's like, I'm perfectly fine with that. I just wanted to get this out of my chest and express what had to be expressed, or create what had to be created. So he's not stressing too much on the results. He's just doing what makes him happy and what he's okay with. Now, the 8 makes me think that he may have moments where he will need to ask for help. And those moments he will be kind of worried because of the hesitation card. It makes me think of not trusting in his blessings. I'm putting these cards together. So it's like there will be times that he will have to ask for help, or the help comes through and helps him with a manifestation that he had been working on. So now he has the manpower or the resources or the motivation necessary to complete something and succeed in something. And there will be times that he will, of course, be grateful for the help that he gets and be very happy with the results regardless of how it turns out. But he will be a little bit hesitant to accept these blessings and accept this help and accept all of this good energy. There is this feeling that he just feels like things are too good to be true this year, and because of that he starts hesitating, because he's like, okay, so what's the catch, or like what's going to go wrong, or like he starts doubting all of this good energy and all of these blessings. And that could cause him to just be a bit cautious, not enough to put resistance and not receive these blessings, but to the point that he's just kind of being hesitant and worried, maybe a little bit skeptical as this opportunities come through. And I don't think that's an unhealthy amount of skepticism. I think it's enough for him to be cautious, and it's still a healthy amount for him to still move forward and just receive these blessings. So it seems like it's a healthy amount of skepticism and a healthy amount of trust. It's like that's just him being him. So again, he's not getting in the way of his own success. He's just taking his time with it. Let's put it that way. Now let's go on to the next person and figure out what is in store for Sunmin's career this 2025. So with all of these cards, I'll just take the bottom. We have gift. So this gift card just shows that he's going to be presented with a lot of opportunities, a lot of blessings, a lot of good energy. He's going to be given either a lot of opportunities that come from a very genuine and sincere place. So this is not people that are like, oh, I want to just work with you because that's the most logical thing. This is more like, oh, I really like your work, or I really like your voice, or I really like your work ethic, or I like your personality. So he's going to be working with people that already like him or know him, or friends, if that makes sense, if he was to have collaborations. Or he's going to work with people that see potential in him, and that's why they want to work with him. So it feels like if he receives any blessings this year, it comes from a very good place. It's like people that genuinely want to see him succeed, or people that genuinely want to work with him or help him out, or bring this opportunities because they were thinking of him. It's like they're going the extra mile, if that makes sense. It's like it's not just work and business. It does come from a place of genuine, let's work together, a genuine place of mutual beneficial collaboration type of thing. It's like there is a bit more than just business. There is heart. There is this feeling of like, I was thinking of you when I was making this, so let's work on it together. I was specifically asking to work with you. It's not necessarily like, it's not like someone going to UIP and it's like, I need a singer, and they go like, okay, well, have this guy. No, it's more like someone going out of their way and be like, I want to work with Sunmin because I like his voice, or I want to work with him because I think it fits the sound that I'm going for, or something along those lines. It's like the gift card just makes me think that it's coming from a place of someone that wants to actually help him out, or from a place of someone that actually wants to gift him something, and he's going to feel very blessed, very cared for, and he's going to not take this for granted. So this year is going to be a good year for him. Now let's go on to the last person and figure out what is in store for Ian's career this 2025. So we have indulgence and justice. So this is actually a very positive set of cards. This shows that this year he's going to make sure that he is staying in balance and harmony with the Justice card. He's going to make sure that he is being fair with his judgment of people. So he's not trying to judge people in a negative way or trying to be overly positive about his views on people. He's just trying to be like, okay, this is what people say about you, so now I know about the type of person that you are. But at the same time, let me actually check your actions and if they match your words. So there's a sense of like he will have a very analytical way of viewing people, of analyzing them, and of studying them, if that makes sense. And he's just doing this for self-preservation. So if he's working with new people, he just wants to make sure that who he's working with when it comes to personalities and their way of thinking and all of that stuff. So what I mean by that is like I'm not saying that he's working with strangers as much as I feel like he's going like, okay, well, people know you because of this reputation, but do you actually match that? So basically he wants to make sure that he himself has like his own opinions in his own mind, and he's making sure that he's treating everyone the same in the sense of like, okay, do you pass a test, do you not pass a test? And he's just doing that so like that he can fairly judge people fairly judge them by their actions and their opinions and their way of speaking rather than just being influenced by what other people are saying. Now with the indulgence card, that makes me think usually of the Three of Cups. So that makes me think that this year he's going to be hanging out with people, networking, maybe creating stronger bonds, maybe making new friends. And in his career, that will be definitely very beneficial because socializing can definitely help him with his career, maybe getting new opportunities or working with new people, or maybe expanding his network in such a way that then he can start like venturing and making his own brand, his own like this is who I am as an individual type of branding towards others. It's like allowing others to get to know him because now he's socializing with other people outside of what he's used to and what he is accustomed to as well. So this friend could be co-workers as much as it could be just normal people in general, and that will definitely help him establish a little bit more of who he is as a person. um, Having like a identity or a brand outside of the group basically. And again with the Justice card, I do feel like he's going to be very fair, so keeping a cool enough mind to be able to make his own judgment and formulate his own opinions and not be influenced by other people. And that type of personality or that type of energy makes sense to the whole idea of him making friends. Is like the reason why he can make all of these friends is because he is making his own opinion and hanging out with people that match his way of viewing things or of doing things, and also he's making sure that he's not influenced by other people's opinions, so he is able to see people for who they are instead of what they appear to be to others. And that skill will definitely help him expand his circles because then he'll be able to hang out with people that are like, oh well, I really like how you genuinely try to get to know me, so let's just create a bridge between us. And not a bridge between us as in like not getting along, but like a connection between people basically. So to end up this reading, let's take some advice and healing messages for Stray Kids to figure out anything that they need to know for this year. So any advice and healing for Stray Kids? Perfect. I think those are 3 cards. So we have New Moon in Scorpio, we work through your fears. We have Cardinal Moon with be bold and make the first move. Like this. And we have Disseminating Moon with take time to breathe out. And that's funny. I think this card has come out in all of the group readings I have done today. So for them, it will be beneficial for them to take breaks or like to meditate or have some time for themselves, so like that they can work through anything that they're hesitating, anything that they're afraid of, and anything that's holding them back. So with this Scorpio energy, we have a new moon, which talks about a new beginning, a new chapter, the start of a new journey. And with the Scorpio energy, we're talking about transformation, we're talking about change. And again, it says work through your fears. So the advice for the group is for them to do the healing necessary. Again, take some time off for themselves in order to get to know themselves better, to figure out the situation that they're in, to reflect on their actions, and also to start looking and aspire towards the future, whatever it is that they want to work on, and kind of combine all of those things in order for them to do any healing that has to get done in order for them to continue moving forward. So if there's anything in the past that was challenging or difficult that has created some sort of wound for them, then they have to like heal all of that if they want to get rid of any baggage that could potentially hold them back from the future. So if there's an opportunity that presents itself, but they feel a bit hesitant to take that opportunity, they will benefit a lot from like analyzing that situation and being like asking themselves questions as to what am I afraid of, or if I want this opportunity, what's holding me back, or in stuff like that, because that will definitely help them work through their fears or work through their pain or work through any past unresolved issues. And when they have all of that done, they will have the knowledge of not only what triggers their this negative feeling or this hesitation, and then figure out a way to solve it and a way to work with it rather than just kind of neglecting it and moving forward. Because by neglecting it, it eventually kind of like it gets not necessarily gets bigger, but like it will come back to them, and it may kind of like almost paralyze them from moving forward. Not literally, but I mean figuratively, in the sense of like all of a sudden this realization of like, damn, this is this is kind of tough, this is challenging. But if they work through it, if they encounter that same feeling, they will be able to be like, oh, I know what is causing this. I am aware that this is an issue. So now that I have all of that information, let me work through a way to work with it rather than neglecting it. So again, working through their fears will definitely help them not hesitate as much, not be as maybe resisting change or resisting opportunities, because there are times that like maybe an opportunity comes through and they're like, I really wanted this, but then they're afraid that they lack the skills or the knowledge or something like that, and then they missed out on this opportunity. That's why the work through your fears is beneficial. It's like if they work through their insecurities or work through their doubts or their fears or their baggage, it will make it easier when these opportunities come through, because they won't push it away, and instead they will just work with it and just take the opportunity. But yeah, Cardinal Moon, be bold and make the first move, definitely shows that whole idea of like if they want something in life, they should just go for it, they should just do it, they shouldn't hesitate. And one of the ways that they could be hesitating is because of that baggage that we talked about earlier, and maybe some of them have this perfectionist mentality that is holding them back from even trying. And by not trying, what is it called, is like you miss all the shots you don't take, is like that whole idea. Like if they don't even try, they will not even know if if they even had a chance or something, right? Like maybe if they try and they fail, now they know how to improve, or they know that maybe it was not meant for them. But if they try and they succeed, it's like they would have never known if they hadn't even taken that risk in the first place. So that's kind of like the advice for them. Yes, don't push themselves to the point of exhaustion, but also taking enough rest to heal, and then doing all of that will make it easier to navigate the unknown and just take risks and go on their impulses and just be spontaneous and just do what they want to do in regards to their career. Just venture into the unknown and experience life for what it is, basically. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It seems like Stray Kids is going to have a bit of a tough year individually. I wonder if many of them don't really know what they want to do on their own, so it makes it very challenging, or if many of them are going through, oh, you know what I talked about earlier in their current energy, where I was like, I don't know, we have two positive cards and then the tower happened. Well, maybe the tower is explaining not necessarily the energy they have right now, but it was giving us a hint of like what they might experience throughout the year, and that could explain why many of them got this negative cards of like stress, reward, conflict, arguments, and fighting, and maybe this lack of self-worth, as we saw with some people here. So yeah, it definitely feels like the group will need to do some healing, and they may encounter this tower moment of realizing the situation that they're in, or maybe a habit that they have or something along those lines that will make them go like, oh, I don't want this. Time to regroup, time to recreate myself, time to like change everything so like that I can be the best version of myself and being in an energy where I can actually accomplish my goals rather than always holding myself back. Anyway, I'll leave this here. I hope that this reading makes sense, that you learned from it or at least found it entertaining. I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that is, however that is. Make sure that you support stray kids along their journey and pray that everything turns out well for them. Also, thank you for all the love and support you have shown me and the channel. I'll see you guys on the next one, whenever that is, however that is. Love and healing from my part to you, and